Hi, Homeworthy. I'm Chris.
And I'm Austin.
And welcome to our house in Dallas, Texas.
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
My name is Chris Kahle. I am a part-time Dallas content creator, influencer, and then I also work full-time as an account exec for a tech startup.
My name is Austin Green. I'm a commercial real estate attorney here in Dallas, and I've been doing that for over about 10 years.
We are in beautiful Dallas, Texas. We are in a prestigious neighborhood as well, and we live in a 100-year-old home that is cottage style that has fully been redone on the inside, and I would describe our home as coastal curated.
Yeah.
Our poor real estate agent
Took her through the ringer.
it was very challenging to find a home because just going through COVID, like we would go into houses where we had to have the masks on, or sometimes it was virtual, you couldn't go in, it was very tricky. And also there was a million offers on houses that we wanted at the time. So the process really and how we landed on this house was we were looking at Lakewood, we were looking at M Streets, and we went through so many different homes and just funny stories along the way. But we landed at this neighborhood that we really didn't know about. It's kind of a hidden gem. And so it was like, I want to say later September, because we got the house in October, our agent was like, there's this neighborhood. I know it's not the area that you want, but it has a pool, it has a guest house, and that was the big criteria. I'm from Miami, Florida, and I had to have a pool, and we love vacationing, and so we wanted to be by the water somewhere. And so a pool was a must. And she was like, there's a pool, there's a guest house, and it's fully redone, which was another requirement. We didn't want to do a lot of renovations. So in Dallas, there's tons of old homes in the neighborhoods that we were looking at, which we love, the character and charm of an old home, but we didn't want to redo the kitchen, redo this, redo that. Right. So she basically nailed the criteria. It just wasn't in the area that we were thinking. And once she showed us the house, it wasn't even on the market.
Correct.
We got super lucky. That same day, I think we
made an offer.
made an offer.
And that was it.
And that was it. Didn't even go on the market. And they accepted our offer. And it was like, we did not expect that this was going to be the area, but we have fallen in love with all of our neighbors. We're all best friends on this block. It's almost like a Desperate Housewives
Pretty much.
show. And it's fun. We're so blessed that that she found us this house.
Yeah.
So when you first walk into our entryway, we love it. It's small but mighty and packs a punch. It kind of gives off the almost White Lotus vibes. So there's a really great lamp from Mecox in there that we love, that kind of ties it all together. We've got some vintage paintings that we layer throughout the house. We love the mix of modern with the old feel. And then there's a vintage rug. And we started collecting matches. It's like a new thing. So we have a beautiful gold tray with matches on there, and then a beautiful entryway table from Pottery Barn, actually. And then fun Dallas vintage books, and I love like little boxes. So there's a lot of vintage boxes throughout the house that you'll see. It's a fun gold box in there on top of a Dallas book. And then Niven Morgan candle, which is a friend
We've got
of
a
ours.
Niven Morgan candle in there. He's actually a good friend of mine. He's based out of here in Dallas. So we kind of have a lot of his candles throughout the house.
Yeah. And then of course the beautiful door that's been there, the original. So we love it. Once you enter the home after the beautiful entryway, we are now in our living room, which we love. This is a place that we hang out all the time, and what I mean by coastal curated, you kind of get that vibe here. So it's light, bright, and airy, and I guess we'll start here, just like when you walk in. So one of the main things about me is I'm not afraid to say it, but I like to mix high and low, but I want it to look chic and elevated and like it could be designer-esque. So in this entry, we've got Williams-Sonoma console, which is pretty pricey, but then I've got Target photos here that I think look vintage and cool, and I'm not afraid to say it. And then we've got some vintage pieces from, where are these
Some
from
really
again?
cool pots from Benny Jack's. It's an antique store here in Dallas in the design district.
And I just love the colors and kind of like brings the blue, because everything was very kind of neutral white and creams. And so we added some colors with the pots, and then we did the fireplace, which you'll see later, but we painted that, which our designers thought would be a great, great idea, which matches the board and batten. So it really gives it a pop in the room. This sofa, again, I'm gonna spend on the big pieces dining room table sofa. So this is from West Elm. We love a good sectional in this space. I'm 6'2", so if I have like the small little sofa and the 2 chairs, that doesn't work for me. I like to have a place where I can nestle with the dogs and sit by the fireplace, which was another selling point for this house. During the fall and the winter, we love to have the fireplace on, all the candles lit, watch movies, have the dogs kind of veg out. And even though the sofa looks clean now, the dogs will be all over this.
These are pushed down and
Yeah. And then I'll be over here with the dogs, and Austin will kind of be on his own.
by myself.
Like when we're watching movies. So this gets utilized. I know it looks like pretty now, but we definitely veg out here all the time. And then beautiful flower arrangements here. We love to have fresh flowers. We try to do it as much as we possibly can. A lot of my neighbors and friends will make fun of me because I have fake flowers, and they're like, wow, I've never seen real plants in your house.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. So we've got real plants going throughout the house. And, you know, again, the high-low. We've got this styled beautifully, this Aspen book, which is one of our favorite places. We love to vacation in Aspen all the time. But this kind of like coastal cabinet is, believe it or not, from Wayfair. But I think it looks good and goes great with the space. And that's my aesthetic. If it looks good and it feels good to you, I feel like this looks elevated. You would never know that it's from there.
It's all about highs and lows.
Exactly. Here's the beautiful fireplace. This is originally white, but we painted it to match the board and batten, so you'll see that later. And I thought it came out great. This kind of console here. So Austin got this little box, which you'll see this throughout the house.
Love little boxes. You get them from antique stores. You'll see them throughout our house, but we just love things like this.
And then a couple other cool things here on the table. So this is our favorite potpourri. It is from Santa Maria Novella, and you can get them only at a couple places. You can order them online, but I worked in retail for a clothing store called Theory, and they had these in all the stores when I first started. This was years ago, and it was like, I was like, what is that smell? I can't, like, it was so, and even all the clients would come in and be like come in from the outside and say, what is that fragrance? And walk in the store. So they carry this here in Dallas, and we have this throughout the house. It is amazing, and I highly recommend that you get it.
And it comes from Italy.
Yes. Yeah. Great brand. They do fragrance. And then the other thing is, always like to layer on books and have trays. So there's a tray in the entryway. There's a gorgeous tray here. So more trays in the house. So this beautiful vintage tray, I think, ties it all together. And then we layered the books. But when I do a vase, my new obsession is like these crystal vases that I got at an antique vintage store here in Dallas. I believe it was Lullaby's or Benny Jack's. But this elevates these beautiful hydrangeas. So instead of like that solid vase, go get a crystal antique vase, and it really like elevates the space quickly. And these weren't bad. These were like $50. So we've got that. And then again, the high-low, this table was from World Market, but it fit with the theme. The other thing I'll say is that we're on this diamond checked rug, and when we were kind of redoing some design things, I wanted the kitchen to have that gorgeous diamond checked, you know, marble or the entryway. We have a smaller house. It's a 100-year-old house. We didn't want to spend the money and do the kitchen like that. And so I thought, let me bring some of these diamond patterns that I love that are kind of rich and elevated into the living space. So we did it on the rug. And then there's a fun print here. I thought this kind of like this hallway with the diamond checkered floor, this is what I wanted. Carries it into the living room and makes it just really pretty. So that's why I picked that print. And off of the living room, this is one of my favorite rooms in the house. This is our sunroom. Fun fact, this was a front porch. And so they added this sunroom. And when we first bought the home, it was an office and staged as an office. And we kind of had it that way. And it was like, oh, we could look out the window and kind of work here. And then I thought, I want to make this kind of like, you want to come, sit down with your friends, have a glass of wine, put some music on, have the windows open, and you're in this kind of just like vacation sunroom spot that you would kind of hang out at a hotel. And I think we captured that vibe here. I love wallpaper on ceilings. It brings your attention up and just adds to the overall aesthetic of the room. So we kind of have like this bird theme almost going on. My friend actually had this wallpaper print and I thought it was really, really cute. And I decided to get it in a different color and copy him. And it came out really, really nice. It tied in with the blue sofa. We thought that was really fun for the space. And then this beautiful Ushak rug is from Southern Rugs, Texas. And I love the colors together. It's just so, so, so pretty. And then we had to do these dramatic palms. So I think this kind of is the main showstopper of the room. These are from Nicholson Hardy. They're absolutely gorgeous. And so it makes you just want to come in and cozy up, have a conversation, a cup of coffee, whatever, and you don't feel like you're in Dallas, which I like that. And then this print, we love. I've seen it just all around, but it's just fun and different. And so we kind of wanted to mix some of the coastal things with this fun print, this little guy underwater. I think we got this from Living Furniture or Modern Living in Dallas, by the way.
So these pillowcases, each one is one of a kind. It comes from this place here in Dallas. They take different rugs, a Turkish rug, and they cut them up and put the print on the pillow. So this is one of a kind pillow. No two pillows look the same, which is, I think, really cool to have something unique.
Yeah, and it kind of ties into this kind of just like fun, almost tropical vacation-y sunroom that you just want to hang out in. So these are really pretty. And I love chinois vases, so these are definitely layered throughout the house. It's also very Dallas to me and ties it in nicely with the beautiful flower arrangement that we did. So,
and then over here on this side, we have this really cool cabinet or bookcase here where we've got a lot of books and different things. These beautiful vases are from Arteriors. This cool thing here came from Paul Michael. And then we've just got different books kind of keeping with the color palette of the home. And then this is probably my favorite painting in the house just because of our New Orleans roots. Chris was actually... picture print. Chris was born in New Orleans. My family's from New Orleans. I went to school in New Orleans. So just kind of reminds us of New Orleans.
The other fun fact I think I have to mention is I do all of my editing for social media here. So this is like my safe space, and I come here, I do my green screens. I'll honestly like sit on the ground here. I'll prop the camera up and I'll do a lot of like my fun, like Your Rich Mom in Dallas content, all that filmed here on the ground, and just do all of my editing and everything that I need to do for social media in here a lot in this room. So it's a great like spot for me to kind of, decompress and do all that. I think for us, like, we're not interior designers, but we really fell in love with Provincetown, Massachusetts, and it is a lot of like these cottages, a lot of older homes by the water with the beautiful hydrangeas out. Everyone's sitting outside during the fall with like a fire pit on, having a glass of wine, and that was really a lot of the inspiration. It's by the coast, it's kind of beachy, it's light and airy, almost.
I mean, like a lot of neutral colors, and by curated, I think we mean every room is intentional.
Yes.
It's not just kind of thrown together. Like we had ideas of what we wanted to do for each room.
Yes. And so you'll see that throughout the house. And also what I love is that every room is completely different.
Yeah.
Actually, every single room, from the sunroom to the guest room to our living room, The dining room and living room kind of go together because they're one space. But everything else is completely different. So you're like, what am I going to walk into next? Which is really exciting. So that's how I would kind of describe it. And that's where the inspiration comes. We love Provincetown and we love all the beautiful homes there. And we wanted to bring that vibe here and kind of make our own little like resort, or kind of like this house could be by the water when you walk in, which a lot of people say it's kind of like a vacation home, they think. So that's what we did. All right, so we're gonna walk through the living room into our dining room. And this is, one big open space. So we wanted to kind of keep that same coastal curated, like light, warm cream colors from the living room, again, into the dining room. And I think what's unique about this space is that when we first bought the house, this was a big square chandelier. And we were going back and forth between a rectangular dining room table or circular. And our real estate agent was like, I think you should do circle, like that's really in. And then I was like, yeah, let's do that. So we loved this marble table from CB2. It's modern, but again, with the vintage paintings, we're mixing that modern and vintage feel together. And we love the circular. So from that, we said, let's get this beautiful chandelier. This is from Pottery Barn, I believe.
Yep.
And if you want to talk about this stunning...
Yeah, I mean, this is a permanent tablescape here that we've done. We had Nicholson Hardy put this together for us. So it's just gorgeous. The colors are beautiful. And so, yeah, this stays here permanently.
And then if this wall over here, so we love, a gallery wall. We initially were gonna do it on the board and batten, which I'll show you, but we decided let's just do a fun little gallery wall print here in the dining room. We also do a lot of videos right here where we're like filming like eating and stuff, and people are always like, what are all these photos? But I love vintage prints, whether it's landscape, kind of the horses, or portraits. And so I kind of loved this little girl and kind of based it around off of that. And just mixing the different frames is something I do too. So it doesn't have to be all gold. There's wooden, there's gold, there's black, there's circular. So I like to mix the different shapes. And so this is just a fun wall. And
this one down here at the bottom is kind of neat. We actually got this at an estate sale in our neighborhood. So pretty neat.
Yeah, we get a lot of fun things from actually our neighborhood, which is great. This is just a beautiful ficus that we got from our favorite garden store, Nicholson Hardy in Dallas. So we think it's gorgeous. We love the planters also from them. We love to have plants and greenery in the house.
It gives the house life.
Yes. So wherever we can have plants, we love it. Okay, so this is a fun story. So this is a cabinet that we had with all this home decor product in it and kind of styled that way. And then we worked with designers that said, okay, let's make it into like kind of a bar cart, like bar area with all your glasses and decanters and...
Yeah, it really just elevated the whole cabinet. And
loved it.
Kind of funny story about the cabinet, right? I mean, it's from Crate and Barrel.
Okay, so the funny story says, this is old, but I was chasing this cabinet for a while and it was at the outlet and then you couldn't get it anywhere. And I went to a bunch of different outlets and they're like, it's not for sale, it's not for sale. And then finally, I can't remember what happened, but they put it on sale and they let me have it. They were nice enough. But they were sold out everywhere at the time. Now they've redone tons of these cabinets, so I mean, you can find them. But I was obsessed with it. And then I think when you open it up, we've got some fun things here. So if you want to talk about those glasses, those are important to you.
Put these really beautiful crystal glassware in the cabinet. These were my grandmother's, so they've been in my family for decades. I thought they were just really pretty.
So pretty.
And these are just kind of our favorite liquors that we have here. We love Ranch Waters, which is a tequila-based drink. Lalo, of course, is our favorite. We always keep that stocked.
And we love bourbon, believe it or not.
In the winter, yeah, when it's
cold. In the winter, but I'm a big bourbon drinker, so we've got our collection of bourbon. This is one of my favorite things in this cabinet. I just think this is the cutest little pig. And I got this at a vintage store here, and it's just really fun. And you can serve drinks on it, food, whatever, but I just love the color, and I love this little guy. So this is really, really fun.
The glassware and these really pretty decanters down here, again, going back to the theme kind of our home, we like to do modern, mixed modern, and antique and vintage. These came from Benny Jack's, which is an antique store here in Dallas.
And then, of course, New Orleans. So you'll see New Orleans stuff around the house, little cocktail book from New Orleans, which we love. This design, I love what they did here. And then I think the big wow factor is in the dining room. Like, you come in, it's coastal curated, and then it's like, okay, boom, you've got this big pop of color. And this is board and batten with this fun Raphael print, which, fun fact, if you've ever seen the Nicole Kidman show, I think it's A Perfect Murder on Netflix. This print is from that show. So she's got this beautiful home and all this gorgeous wallpaper, and like all my friends were like, where's that wallpaper from? So we found the wallpaper, and this used to just be all white. Kind of had some photos here, and it was just kind of like, eh.
It was a long hallway, and it was just white. It was just, it needed,
yeah, and it's like you
something.
could do a gallery wall, you could do mirrors, and we're like, what are we gonna do? And actually our designers thought, okay, well, let's paint all the squares and put wallpaper in all the squares. And we're like, that's a really cool idea. So this is the color that ties in with the fireplace.
The mantle, the entry.
And it's Pharaoh and Ball, and it's beautiful. And then, yeah, this is, again, Raphael's the name of this. I don't remember the exact designer, but this is a fun print. And so it kind of gives a pop of color when you walk into the living room.
When we moved into the house, it was just a blank white wall, and we added the board and batten, painted it white, and again, even with the board and batten trim, it still needed something.
Yeah.
And so this pattern, I think, is just gorgeous.
I love wallpaper, and it's texture, right? It brings dimension in, and so there was a lot of white, and we're like, how do we make a fun pop and something different? So we thought this was a good statement piece. We've got some cameos. We've got our dogs. We decided to let them out because they were barking, but we've got Bentley and Parker. So if you see them walking around, it's fine. But let's, off the dining room, we'll kind of go into our guest bath and our guest bedroom. Really quick, the guest bath, because I think it's kind of cool. We've got this beautiful, this all came like this when we bought the house. We love this blue tile. It's a fun pop of color. So just bring something unique and different. And then, of course, I love wallpaper. So we decided to do this fun print in here that it's kind of like gives off that vintage vibe. We've got like the little statue here. This is an antique mirror. I love the shape of this. So I saw this at a store here in Dallas and I was like, I have to have it with the lamp. So all this has been changed. And then there's this beautiful sunlight here. And then some more just vintage prints here. Again, I like to mix and match just different shapes, but I think it's just a fun guest bath, and it ties all nicely together with the color of the cabinets here. And yeah, so this is just a fun bathroom for people to come in because I love the wallpaper and just the pops everywhere. And this is our beautiful guest room, and I'm excited to talk about it because we were in New York, we went to the Polo Bar, we loved it. We went to the Ralph Lauren Mansion store, which is huge there and iconic, and we also have a beautiful home store from Ralph Lauren here on Knox. And we just got inspired and said, why don't we make our guest bedroom kind of more Ralph Lauren inspired? And so this is our take, this is our version. So we wanted to make it dark and the signature navies, and we kind of built it around the bedding. So this is actually this fun plaid print. This is Ralph Lauren. So the bedding's Ralph Lauren, and then of course we did this Ralph Lauren pillow. And then from there, we decided, okay, we'll do this beautiful navy like color on the wall.
Yeah.
And then I said, okay, let's also do a fun check print, which is very Ralph Lauren as well, on the ceiling. And so I think it ties together nicely.
So we got these just gorgeous palms from Nicholson Hardy, and we actually went to their outdoor garden center and got these real pots from their outdoor center. But I think they just look stunning in this room. These terracotta pots with these beautiful palms. Yeah, they're huge, but they're just gorgeous.
Yeah, and then of course a lot of prints. So we've got the horse here. This to me is very Ralph Lauren, so we wanted to make sure we had a mix of these fun prints. And then this, when in any kind of Ralph Lauren room, he has these beautiful big palms, gold pots, and so we love this vase. We got this at, I believe, Benny Jack's actually. And then all of this is vintage. So this fun vintage decanter these are very Ralph Lauren inspired, in this beautiful tray, and then this fun little magnifying glass. And then
this is a vintage trophy that I found. It kind of goes to the Ralph Lauren theme. We think of horses, so just kind of a cool piece.
Yeah, I love that. And then we actually have this beautiful Ralph Lauren candle that's burning right now. Some more fun books, and then of course you have to have the Ralph Lauren book in here as well. This to me is very Ralph Lauren, and I love this beautiful gold mirror that we also got at a vintage store. I just fell in love with it, so I wanted to put it up really high and kind of anchors the room when you walk in. It's just really, really pretty. And then you'll see there's horses on the
nightstands.
On the nightstands. So there's just some fun vintage horses that we got to kind of keep with the theme of the room. This is just like kind of a vintage bench that actually, again, a lot of this room, you got very expensive bedding, you got very expensive plants and some other things, but this is actually, I believe, from Wayfair, I think. But it's playing off the vintage vibe. I couldn't find one at a vintage store, but it ties in nicely with the leather. When you think about Ralph Lauren, he's got a lot of leather pieces, and even chandeliers. This was very Ralph Lauren inspired. And then this fun just little print. This we also got at a vintage store, and then kind of the chinois vase tying in with the other vase with the beautiful flowers, and the lamps are chinois, so it kind of all plays off each other, and we love how this room came out, and a lot of our guests, this is their favorite room in the house actually. Follow us from the guest bedroom, and we're gonna go into the kitchen. This is our beautiful kitchen, and we did get a lot of things redone in here. But again, every room so far I feel like is completely different except for the living room and dining room that are cohesive. So this also to me is very inspired by Provincetown and kind of like Hamptons vibe. It's, you know, you've got the whites, you got the chinois vase, but then you got the beautiful wallpaper. And so we wanted to keep it clean, bright, and airy. And so a couple things were redone here. So the first thing is we didn't like the backsplash, so we updated the backsplash here.
It was a very deep
it was
blue.
Like, it was like greenish blue.
Yeah.
And it was like completely random. It did not go all the way up, so it didn't give a lot of height. But we did have this beautiful Viking stove here. Another selling point for the house, all these great appliances that came with it. We didn't add any of this. So we love this Viking stove. And then it also came with a wine fridge, which we do have fully stocked. So this comes in handy for guests and just, you know, something in a 100-year-old house. Again, you don't walk in and think that there's all these updates in here.
We love to entertain.
Love to entertain.
The home just has great living areas, and we have a great backyard that we'll get to at some point.
Yeah, okay. We've gone back and forth on this coffee machine. So Austin, my husband, loves coffee, and I love more espresso. So he had this old school coffee machine that, like, with the pot, and it made all this noise.
I do the pot and the filter and the water, and you give and take in marriage, and he finally said, please get rid of it.
Yeah, it just made a lot of noise, and so I was like, okay, wait, but I want an espresso. And so we compromised with this, but this is like our little kind of coffee nook. And then again, of course, off the Ralph Lauren theme, we have our little Ralph's Coffee here. We went there in New York City, and we had coffee there at the iconic Ralph's, and we wish that it would come to Dallas. Who knows? But We got this little set there as well. And then again, love these vintage vases just with hydrangeas. This makes it just super elevated. Like these hydrangeas, I mean, not that expensive. And this crystal vase, not that expensive either, but it just gives it a pretty chic look. Love a vintage painting against any kind of wall lean there. So I thought this was fun landscape print. So we kind of layered that in this little kind of breakfast nook area that we have here. And then as you walk through the kitchen, like we love this big island. So we eat here all the time. We have our guests here all the time. And of course we wanted to kind of do a wow factor. So these beautiful flowers kind of center the room, and it ties nicely with the beautiful wallpaper behind you. So we always love fresh flowers here. And what
I was going to say, like the counter space in the house was a big selling point for us, just because we love to entertain. So there's room to put all kinds of drinks and food. We have a Christmas party every year, and so it just gives us tons of room to have it catered and have tons of food. So big selling point in the house for us.
It gets utilized a lot. And then we changed the light fixtures. It was like these weird kind of small lights when they came. And I always kind of love this look with the cone lighting and the white and kind of the gold chain. And then have to talk about this. So we love gray Malin. And this is the iconic Casita Mambo Taxi, which is one of my favorite margaritas in Dallas. And so I wanted to bring Dallas into the home. Gray Malin is originally from Dallas, and this is just a fun print. And so brought it in and put it in the kitchen. Kind of gets you in the mood to drink a margarita. We love these gold salt and pepper shakers. These are iconic. I see them in a lot of houses, but
these are Greek salt and pepper shakers.
Just really pretty. Again, another one of my favorite crystal vases with flowers on my Define Dish cookbook. So she's from Dallas too, bringing a lot of Dallas in the kitchen. And then as you come back here, again, I've got a lot of wallpaper. We decided, let's make a punch like when you walk into the house and you're walking back to the pool. We wanted to do a fun print on this wall. So this is Serena and Lily wallpaper. And then we decided, let's put some beautiful just like plates on the wall. And the designers also thought about that. And so we're like, okay, this is good. So we've got some vintage plates that are all on the wall. The other thing I love about this house, it's wood floor all throughout the home, but we wanted a beautiful runner. This again is from Southern Rugs, Texas, and it's Ushak. And I just love the colors, kind of like this blue, green, kind of ties everything in together in this room nicely.
Again, Nichols and Hardy is just our favorite garden store here in Dallas. They just make the most beautiful arrangements. This is a beautiful orchid. We're trying to keep it alive. We'll see how we do, but so far we're doing a good job.
Yes. We had a big gold mirror here. We might think about putting another mirror or something here. But again, this wallpaper carries through the dining room to the kitchen and gives it a fun pop when you're in here. And we also, these are Serena and Lily bar stools. This was actually one of the first purchased when we actually bought the house.
Yeah.
I've been seeing these everywhere and I was like, oh, I kind of need to have these. So yeah, these are Serena and Lily, and we got the Serena and Lily wallpaper. And again, it kind of gives you that like coastal Provincetown vibe. It also reminds me a little bit of Gray Malin. He does these like kind of coastal kitchens. And that's why I have the Gray Malin picture in here. And off our beautiful kitchen, this was not the original bedroom, but we made it into our bedroom. So let's walk into our primary. Here we are in the primary bedroom, and Austin's going to talk about this was not our bedroom.
So when we first moved into this home, this was a second living area, and we thought, well, there's only two of us. We don't need two living areas. They actually had the smallest bedroom in the house as the primary.
Yeah,
so what we did was we flipped the entries from the primary bathroom and made this into our primary bedroom, which is one of the biggest rooms in the house.
Yes. So we added a door because there originally wasn't a door, and then we closed off an entryway to the primary bathroom and made that a wall. So now it's like cohesive. And this was one of the biggest rooms, and it also overlooks the pool and has entryway to our patio where you can go out and have a cup of coffee, let the dogs out. So it actually makes sense. It's really pretty. But a couple things about this room. So one, the color, this is Benjamin Moore. I always wanted a moody, dark kind of green. And I was going back and forth between, do we do The Office, that, but I just wanted something to come where everything's kind of like light, bright, and airy in the home. And in the room, I want it to be tranquil and peaceful. And I feel like this color really captures that. I want to stay in here. It's relaxing. So reading a book, laying on the bed, being with the dogs, like this color calms me down at the end of the day. So I think that's important in your bedroom.
Yeah.
But some fun things. Of course, we have photos of us. This is from our wedding and
This is when we got married, these three here.
which is at Zaza in Dallas. And then
This is when I proposed to Chris on the beach
In
in
Mexico.
Mexico.
so reminders before we go to bed or in the morning, I wake up and I'm annoyed by him and I just want to like, I'll look at the prints and then it'll calm me down. I'm like, oh, okay, let's remember where we started. This is a fun vintage table and it's gonna bug me, but the name, it's like pretty iconic. And I don't remember the name of it, but I loved it. It's almost like violin something.
It looks like an
It looks
instrument.
like an instrument. And so we love that with the orchid. And I can kind of show you these fun vintage prints, but there is something really cool that we feature here on the wall. So this is just a fun vintage landscaping print. Austin can talk a lot about it. This is from the director of the DMA who used to live in this neighborhood.
So this is a drawing of one of the homes in our neighborhood. I think this is just so cool. This was back in the 1980s. His name was Harry S. Miller.
Yes.
And he drew, I think there's a number of them on here, but he handed them out to the neighbors back in the 1980s. And it's supposed to depict a lot of the neighbors protesting against what they were calling greedy developers back in the day. They were really trying to protect the neighborhood. And so they just got some really cool depictions of neighbors kind of up in protest, trying to protect the neighborhood from big development.
They were trying to make a development right by the tollway outside of the neighborhood, and he lived in this house, and so it captures that. And there's only a few people in the neighborhood that actually have this print, so it's very unique, very special. And the fact that he was the director of the DMA back in the days, pretty cool. And so we wanted this in our bedroom and framed, and so we
I think we have some neighbors that are wanting to sneak into our house at night and take it.
We do. And then more just like kind of gold vintage prints, as you can see here, which we love against the wall. I love gold frames and landscape portraits. I just think it's ties in with the room, makes it very moody. These are from Crate and Barrel, and it's just kind of funny because, again, high-low, got at the outlets. Originally, I had the two nightstands, and I came in and I was like, okay, this is the color that I want. And it's, again, kind of coastal, but I got the two nightstands. But then I'm like, well, how do I get the dresser? And a week went by, and I was like, hey, do you think that dresser will come in by chance? He's like, we always get them. And then, like, I went on a Monday, and he was like, yeah, we got it in. And so just very random that I got these all as a cohesive set at an outlet, because they'll come in different times throughout the year. And within 2 weeks of each other, I got to get this set. So lucked out on that. And then we kind of tied it together with this beautiful fig tree from Nicholson Hardy, and then some fun kind of gold vintage prints again above the lamps. And I love the shape of these lamps too. I just think they're fun. And now I'm going to take you to one of our favorite spots of the house, why we bought it. We're going to go to the backyard, and then we're going to go into our guest house. Okay, so now we are in our beautiful pergola and just kind of dining area outside, which we're obsessed with. But Austin's going to talk about
This wasn't
the
here
pergola.
when we moved in, and we love to entertain. We love to be outside. We needed some coverage, so we had this beautiful pergola built for us. Just allows us to be out here, in all types of weather. So
Yes.
it's really nice. Keeps it shaded in the afternoon.
Yes, and we like to entertain, so we'll have drinks here, we'll have dinner outside on a beautiful fall day. We added some light fixtures and then some beautiful planters here as well. And then we wanted to cover the pergola. We didn't want to have it open because it gets too hot in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
So we wanted to make sure it was fully covered, and I'm so glad that we did that because we would be frying in the hot sun.
Yeah.
But yeah, we love it here. We added some outdoor candles and lanterns, and yeah, so this is kind of, you walk into this pool area. So we also had all this painted. I kind of love this color, but as you walk into the pool area here, all of this was like cement. The pool was here, but we had everything else completely redone. So all of the landscaping, all of the trees, we have about, 8 trees. And then we did these custom pavers. So, and we added turf. So these pavers we added with these rocks, they're actually glued together so they stay, they don't get messy, which is really nice. We wanted to do turf, but then we thought when you kind of walk out and you see all the beautiful trees and all of the turf, it was a good contrast so it wasn't so much green.
Yeah. So, in the spring and summer, we pretty much live out here. We always have a bunch of friends over on the weekends.
Yes.
This is a pretty popular place to be. We just absolutely love the pool. It was, to be honest, it was a requirement for our first house. We just had to have a pool. Chris moved here from Florida and Miami. I just really loved being around the water, and so it was a requirement for us.
Yeah. So we love it. We changed the coping, all turf around the pool. The dogs run around, they love it. And then kind of tying into this Provincetown theme, we love the pinstripe, or not pinstripe, but the blue and white striped cushions.
Yeah.
And these are kind of some of our favorite trees that grew so big in the back here, that awesome.
So we
You wanna
added
talk about it?
these junipers 4 years ago. They were probably about maybe half as tall as they are now. So they've just turned out beautiful, low maintenance. I think they're just gorgeous.
And it kind of gives you that again, people think it's a resort back here.
Yeah.
In California, you see these big junipers everywhere, and they also block the neighbors too. So we added these in, and we love our hydrangeas, and we did the window boxes as well. Again, this to me is very Provincetown, and that was kind of the vibe that we were going for. And these aren't bloomed yet, but these are limelight hydrangeas, and they will be stunning white limelights. And then we did all these trees, and we have these lit during Christmas. So every tree, even the junipers, will have Christmas lights around them, and it's stunning when you come out here at night. And just for our Christmas party that we do every single year, we like to have it. And
we have a huge Christmas party every year with, open bar, DJ.
Yes.
Other surprises. We sprayed champagne last year.
Yeah, it was a wild time. So we love this. This was, none of these trees were here, by the way. There was one tree. We removed it, and everything else was cement, no grass. So we added all of this ourselves, and that's our pool area.
Next, we're going to take you into my favorite room in the house, and that is our guest house, or as we also call it, the Casita.
Let's go. Okay, so we are in our Casita, or guest house, pool house, and a couple of different things that we've done here. So it actually used to be more blue, and we had this kind of funky wallpaper, but it wasn't throughout. And working with our designers, they were like, we envision this beautiful kind of green light color. And so this is from Farrow and Ball. We did the ceilings as well. And it came out so pretty because it kind of ties into the beautiful greenery when you're staying here. And we kind of think of this again as almost a White Lotus kind of
like you're
tropical.
in a bungalow.
Yeah, that's a good way to describe it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we've got these fun prints kind of tying to that bungalow kind of tropical theme. You're at a pool house, but we love these bird prints, and we just loved the frames on these. And it ties really nicely with the color of the Fair and Ball paint. Love plates on a wall. There's so many plates I can get from vintage stores. I want to put them everywhere, but we thought we'd just add one like fun tropical print to this wall here. And then we love the idea of having these kind of sheer curtains. You can open up the windows and have it all up with the curtains, and it kind of gives height to the room. So, and again, you feel like you're in this like bungalow and private getaway. But we did this white linen bedding, and then I think this is from West Elm, or
this is from Crate and Barrel. The blanket's from Crate and Barrel, and the quilt here is from Pottery Barn.
Yes. So you've got this white bed frame and these white nightstands, and so I just think it ties together nicely. It's kind of like the linen, the creams, and the whites. But we've got these fun lamps that we got at a vintage store. I don't know if you can see it here, but these are absolutely really cool. Stunning. So we kind of have vases and things, and this kind of is the play, and this is kind of the vibe that we're going for in this Casita. I also love this little tray. Gossip today, it felt great, that's all. So this is just like fun. But yeah, you know, we wanted to bring a lot of golds, and again, you can kind of see the birds, and this vase that has a similar print to the lamps ties in really nicely. So this is also vintage.
The books you've probably noticed throughout the house, we have a couple of the destination books of some of our favorite places. So we had Aspen Inside.
Yep.
We love Tulum, and Mykonos is probably our
one of our favorites
in the entire world.
So we hope to add to those books. Maybe we'll get an Italy book and we'll get a France book, because yeah, we need to go there. This is a fun pelican. My friend gave me this, but I thought, how cute. I'm like, what am I gonna do with this? And then I was like, wait, this is gonna go in the Casita, and this ties nicely with like kind of birds, tropical theme.
Also ties to our New Orleans roots.
Yep.
Since the pelican is the state bird of Louisiana.
Yeah, so nice. The mirror kind of opens up the room, makes it really big. This rug came out beautiful from Southern Rugs, Texas. I absolutely love it. I didn't want to do like, let's do green, but it kind of has teal, but mostly blue, and it just gives it a nice pop. And then these birds of paradise, this planter, literally we were bringing inside the house from Nicholson Hardy, and our neighbor was like, where did you get that? And then she ran and got the same planter. So we love this. And then again, just these fun types of more birds and prints in these vases, kind of tie it all together.
Home means to me somewhere that is kind of sacred almost. It's where you build each step of your life. It's something that is yours or ours, and it's unique to us. Yep. And it's where we create all of our memories.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that.
And spend time with our wonderful two little dogs that will, I'm sure, be running around here at some point.
Yes. I couldn't have said it better myself. I mean, I think I was gonna say it's like creating memories. There's a lot of things for us that have happened in this house that have been special, good or bad. But also, it's a place to welcome your family and your friends and invite them in your space. And it's also a place for us where I kind of think of a home as kind of a safe space, like sometimes to get away and kind of cozy up and relax and have that quiet peace kind of away from the world. And so we're able to do that here. And again, like Austin said, it's ours, and it's also something that can be a blank canvas too. I can change everything that we've done.
And he does.
And I do. I'm the type of person that I'll be like, okay, we just did this room. Okay, 2 weeks later, I see something on TV. Okay, I want to change it. It's terrible, everything. Let's change everything. And I love that you can do that at your house. You can create anything that you want. You can transform a room into a bar. You can transform it into a beautiful office. And I love that.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to go to homeworthy.com for exclusive content, shopping guides, and so much more.